that was really helpful to me, as I said earlier, was interdisciplinary research. So when I was an undergrad, I worked in the anthropology department, Spanish department, the archaeology department, and then also art history, and geography. So like I worked in a lot of different areas, and that's why I was able to like get so much experience. So for example, like I studied abroad with the geography department, and that like built up my cultural anthropology kind of fieldwork experience, because that's like often not very obvious how you kind of get that research experience.
Can open up opportunities for more funding.
Yes.
So I know there's students in the anthropology department, but they get funding through Latin Americans.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And bug the hell out of people. You know, do it humbly. Don't like email them and go, "Why haven't you emailed me back?"
Yeah.
You know, you can say, "I had to." After I met my friend Anna, we were I was at the SAs in Memphis, and I got introduced to her by another guy, Clark Erickson, archaeologist who works in South America and Bolivia. And so he just literally just like pawned me off on her, and we just started talking, and then I spent probably, I don't know, 6 months emailing her like, "Hey, when are we gonna meet? Can we talk?" And that allowed me to go up for about 2 months to Ohio State and get experience to botanicals, because she saw that I was persistent, that I cared, that it was something I was interested in. And I think I finally just meant for broker. But be persistent. Just, and it's the same thing with the GRE. I had to do the GRE twice. The first time I applied to 4 schools. Don't think just because it doesn't work out the first time that it's never going to.
Great
And
point.
yeah, it's incredibly. It can really take the wind out of your sails if you're like. Because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, right? So
what Quickbomb was saying,
yeah.
with the stars aligning, it really does have a lot to do with that sometimes. It's not just all about what you can provide,
Right.
it's the timing of that institution. Are they taking students?
Right.
Is there funding available? You know, like all these other things sort of come together.
Yeah, when I applied the first time, you know, Mike Heckenberger is my advisor. So when I applied the first time, cornered him with some other people at a conference, and they said, "Oh, this is the student that I was telling you about," and he had this like glazed look on his face, like, "Who? Wait, well, you should apply to come work with me." I said, "I did." And he explained that at the time he was in the middle of writing several NSF grants, and he just got back from the field, so he had no idea that I even applied. So you never know what's going on behind the scenes.
Which speaks to the need to make a connection with someone. And if you're going to corner someone at a conference, if you're going to have a conversation with someone, do your homework. You know, read the publications, know what they've done, but also what they're doing. You know, their highest cited publication might have been 30 years ago, and they really don't want to talk about it. You know, as much maybe, or they're doing something else now, and you just have a conversation about that, right? You don't have to know everything. You don't have to have the research question to change everything. But if you show an interest in the work you want to do, and that is related to the work they're doing, people will want to work with you. They should be competing for you.
And a trick that you can do too, and I did that because my advisor suggested it to me, is that when I applied, so I sent her an email like, "We'd like to work with you, blah, 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 blah." And she's like, "You should email these people in the department because I think they would be people you could work with, or there would be like people in the community and all." And so basically, when they go in, February or something together to discuss, who they want in the program, then for these people, you're going to send them a letter telling them who you are and how you think that your interest could align with their interests. And like that's just a name on a piece of paper. You already made like a few steps, and then you're showing like a greater interest, right? Like I did my homework. I know who you are, and so I think that also makes a more personal connection. And so if you apply to 7 schools or something, maybe that's not possible for all of them, but maybe for like your top 3 choices is something that you can take the time and do.
Yeah. And because these are the people that you're going to be working with, even more so sometimes than your own advisor. They're all going to have a hand in your research, and you're going to go to them for various things.
And make sure you like multiple people in the department. Don't just look up one advisor and be like, okay, I want to go for this one person. Because like I'm in one of those awkward situations initially. Like I applied to come here under Mike Warren. I got accepted here. I came here and then Mike was gone when I got here. But I had applied also interested in a couple other teachers, and now I'm under one of them. Also on top of that, especially if you have multiple interests that you want to pursue, you might be working in different labs or with different people. You might need insight on different parts of your research, and it's really valuable to have multiple sources for that. Also, it's going to be a committee that's going to be interviewing you. And so you don't just want one person on the committee saying, "Oh, I remember talking to that person. I think they're really valuable resource." You want multiple people around that table wanting you in their program.
Right, consensus.
Right, and then
Yeah.
when you're coming in and you're developing these research questions, it's, talking to those other people might turn on light bulbs for you. Like, wow, I never even thought about that. So it's really nice to be able to make those connections because these people might have information or a perspective that you didn't even consider, or that maybe that conversation, wouldn't have brought up those things or those topics, even just talking with your one advisor. Because certainly, what you're doing is not going to be exactly what your advisor is doing. That job's already taken, so you are creating your own sort of research agenda, and having those multiple voices and multiple sources of input are going to be critical. So, so certainly reaching out to more people is certainly critical.
That's a really, really, really good point, is the fact that just because you might find the perfect person who's the perfect mentor in what they're doing, the last thing you want to do is to write them and say, I want to do what you do. Exactly. Because then it becomes somewhat awkward and like, well, I'm already doing this. How does this work? But so what you want to do is sort of present how you would augment their research program in creative ways that are really, that sort of, ease their ego and allow them to say, wow, I am maybe starting this new line of inquiry into this or that, and I do need good people who are sort of that are show professionalism, that I can talk with and communicate clearly, and that just can help me boost my research program. Those are no-brainers as for the mentor.
What about what you can do in undergrad as far as trying to pad your CV while you have time, like volunteering, volunteering in labs, volunteering with professors.
Yes.
I did the same thing.
I said yes to almost everything.
Absolutely.
Working in a lab, just helping out with field projects, grading papers. I was an undergrad TA. Anything that you could possibly sign up for, because guess what? Everybody has a GPA. Everybody has, GREs. Everybody has a resume. Everybody has a statement of purpose. What might set you aside is that I have, 150 hours in this lab. I have, so much experience, where I translated these documents, or, I did, a public survey, or I did something to the effect that's going to set you outside.
And it's going to be easier to get a faculty letter of recommendation. Working with them in their lab, and you don't screw up.
That's
Yeah,
the
other
thing. Don't ask somebody that you've only had like maybe at class with, and you've never taken another class.
Yeah.
Somebody that sees you, knows you, and has worked with you.
The other thing to say about getting lab opportunities, so I did undergraduate research in the museum for several years. If you keep showing up, right, so a lot of people will do it for credit hours, right, and they're there for a semester. And like when I was managing undergrads, they'd be there for a semester and then they would leave. Really stick in people's minds are the ones who keep coming back, the ones who are like, right, these labs need consistency as much as anything else. So doing one semester of research hours is great. If you can do multiple in the same place, then you're going to get more and more experience until maybe you're thrown on your own project, right? You might be able to get out of the grunt work into something really big, and mine even turned into a job. For my year after undergrad, I had a job there because I worked for 3 years, or as an undergrad. So like, stick with them. If you find a good opportunity, don't be like, well, I should jump around and do a bunch. Sometimes that's valuable, and sometimes it's valuable to stick where you are and just show that you can have like a commitment to something, and that can be really, really valuable.
And that's a great point, because ultimately, what you're trying to show these people is that you're in it, right? This is your career. And so if it's your career, then you should have more than just your coursework, because everybody can take coursework. If it's your career, if it's your passion, it's what you want to do, you're going to find time in your day. I mean, I work full time. I went to school. I get it. It's hard. But now you're young. You have more energy than some of us. And so do it. Fill it up at every opportunity. Yeah.
That being said, also make sure you like your experiences. So for example, let's say you tried something in a museum or something and you didn't like it. Don't stick with it. I found that like experiences were really valuable for finding out what you wanted to do before you get to grad school. So I did all different types of field school. I did historical archaeology ones. I did forensic archaeology. I worked in a coroner's office for a little bit. I kind of spread it out and found exactly what I wanted to do. And I'd recommend you doing that because a lot of times you can get those things done in the summer and try them out before you're committed to it and in a graduate program for it, and then you find out if you like it.
Right, that is priceless, priceless advice right there.
And I think, based on what you were saying earlier too, is if you take, and I do, I can recommend taking a year or two to, away from academia, but don't take a year or two away from the work. Do it, evaluate whether it's bringing you fulfillment as you're doing it. But take a year or two, even 4, but do the work, because you can. One of my favorite guys to graduate school once said, you can go off and sit on a mountain and contemplate existence and your pathway all you like, but all you're gonna learn about by doing that is how to sit on a mountain. You need to do the work.
Do what's feels right.
Right, and question.
Because I finished my undergrad, I knew I wanted to do archaeology. Actually, knew I wanted to come here, but I knew there was nothing in funding for master's programs. That's why I found something in Canada where I could get funding and actually getting a scholarship from the government to go there. And then when I was done, I knew I wanted to come here, so I applied and it worked. But I didn't feel the need to take a gap year or anything, and that's what I did. But I know a lot of people who've been, that finished undergrad, or even the master's program, they're not sure what they want to do. Don't force it if it doesn't feel right. Because probably what's going to happen is going to start grad school and going to feel miserable because grad school is hard.
And that's, grad school is hard, and it should be hard. And if you're not ready for hard in grad school, then you're probably not ready for grad school. So if the time off is valuable, and so with that, what I'm going to do is sort of thank you for the conversation, this open conversation, and let everybody know that this is going to be available online. And we're going to just say goodbye for now and say thank you for joining us. So say goodbye. Bye. Thanks, guys. That I just wanted to get.